Hello, everybody. This is a special Secret Spaces. Sit tight. We're talking about the Secret Ledger app today. I'm mostly not going to talk at all, but this is Tor from the Secret Network account, and we're happy to be hosting a couple awesome people here today. So, in just 1 second, we'll bring them up here.
So for this kind of, I would say like Twitter space, we're gonna focus a bit on few things regarding like the Ledger application that one developers like on the secret ecosystem and also a validator on the network have been done. So people will be able like to understand what's behind developing on top of Ledger and what's possibly like the difficulties and or literally you can make it like by yourself because everything is open source. If you have like another stuff like working even like on the secret network part as a side project or just a project on top of it. So maybe I'll let you like introduce yourself first. Saturn, can you go ahead?
Sure. So most just only know my validator node, which is Secret Saturn. But I'm personally like some of them in the room already know me, some don't. For those who don't know me, my name is Alex. I'm based in Germany, and I'm basically at the moment I'm the only guy running Secret Saturn at the moment. So I don't have any other people doing it. I'm basically the only one. Yeah, and I personally had some experience with Objective C, and then came more into C and so on. So that's just my personal background.
How much time like you have been like developing like since very long? Like which language are you working on?
Yeah, just a really long time. So like for over, I think I started off with someone properly like when I was 15 or 16 or so. And I got like more into C, and also at the moment now with my studies, I'm also into Python. So it's like a pretty long time actually. I'm actually pretty comfortable with C at the moment. So C and Python is like my main languages that I quite like.
Okay, perfect. So good introduction. And maybe Patrick, you can like talk a little bit about you.
Yeah, big fan of Secret Saturn, of course, and Zdeadex, both amazing guys in the secret ecosystem. Saturn's an awesome validator, and Zdeadex does some IBC relaying as well. So both super important people, and they're the ones that are here to really talk.
Yeah, I can introduce myself a bit. So I'm Zdeadex. I've been like working for 5 years for Ledger. I'm still here as a blockchain developer advocate. So my role is basically like to try to connect with developers, working on the stack and actually like building stuff with us. So as developer, you can basically, if you have a blockchain, create your own application to make it like works with your Nano devices, or you can even like integrate your application, your blockchain, or even go like way on way more like specific stuff. But everything is open source. We have documentation on top of it, and we're gonna discuss a bit like on how, like for example, Secret Saturn have made it for the first integration path. So let's talk a bit about like the first thing. So Ledger, maybe you know already a bit of it. So we are building hardware wallets. So an hardware wallet is basically something with a cold storage. So it's not like the same as, for example, Kepler or MetaMask or for example, with Cosmos Station. So they are kind of defined as a hot wallet because you create at the first time your seed account or your mnemonic, your 24 words, you can say also you're gonna build them directly on it, write them. But when you do it, literally it's been done like online, so you didn't generate it in a secure place, and that's make it like possibly. I won't say like it's always the case, but possibly could be affected at this time, and maybe it's corrupt. And in this case, you're gonna lose maybe your fund at the time. You don't know. So hardware wallet basically just like makes you available to generate your seed phrase offline. So it's not exposed at this time. So you can literally just like write it on your side in a secure, safe place, not online, not on your computer, and then just use your account as it was, as if it was like connected. But the private key is not exposed, so you're pretty secure. So if you know, there is like with Secret Network a little integration coming. So the first part, when you have a blockchain and you want to work with Ledger to have all the integration part done, the first thing is to have your own application. On Cosmos, you can use the Cosmos application and basically just go with it. You will use like the coin type like 118, and it's gonna be like the basic coin type for everyone. But you can also create your own application and have your own path. And actually, Secret is like own path, so it makes literally sense to have it. And yeah, few more examples as like Secret have the SNP 720 tokens. So there is like multiple things that can be built on top of it. So it's kind of a bit different. So I want to ask you, Secret Saturn, how was like the process like for you? So where did you start and how you get like known about it, like as a developer?
Yeah, so I mean, my first starting point was basically using Secret Network and using a ledger. So in the past, basically, I also had like it was almost like 2 years ago. I bought like just a normal Ledger Nano S. Nothing too fancy, and I also used it in conjunction with the Cosmos Ledger app. So the typical starting point for someone who wants to use something in the Cosmos ecosystem and wants to use a hardware wallet to secure his keys. And then over time, I also like did more and more in the Secret ecosystem. Joined as a validator, and almost like over 1 year ago now. Of course, holding some Secret as well. Of course, reading everything about it, how it works, what are the ins and outs of Secret. And then after some time, I basically got the feeling that the Cosmos Ledger app just isn't quite optimized for Secret. So of course it's working for it, but there's just some things that could be done better if you try to specialize it on Secret, because the main feature that we have in Secret, and that's the main point of having it, is your privacy preserving smart contracts. And for the grand goal that basically I wanted to set out was to say, okay, how can we leverage the ledger even better with Secret specifically, and not always using the Cosmos ledger, because it's optimized for Cosmos, which is really nice, but when it comes to other blockchains, just like maybe Osmosis as well, Secret, or like even other ones in or Juno maybe, then you start to see that this has not really been specialized for these. In terms of user experience, and in terms of like simple things like string replacements and so on, and the user experience overall. And this is what basically was my starting point of saying, okay, I'm not quite, I like the Cosmos ledger, but we can do it better, specifically for Secret, and this is where my starting point was, and from there on I started off.
No, it's great, like to understand like this part, like, because at some point people were just like saying, okay, but you can just like use the Cosmos application and basically it works with everything. I say, like, you have the same coin type, it's pretty easy. But yeah, actually, if you want to implement like your own logic, having like, for example, like privacy stuff regarding like, for example, like the tokens that can be introduced like on Secret, you need some specification. And I have a question, like to start, like just before like going more deeply, like with this privacy and all the features we could add like in the future, maybe on top of it. was it like hard for you like to get into it? How much time like did it get like to you to have the application done, for example?
In our case, I would say we got a very nice head start because the Cosmos Ledger was already existing and it was working with Secret, so we had quite a good code base, I would say. So as you might know, the Cosmos Ledger is developed by the Swiss developer team of Zdeadex,
Zdeadex.
CH. Yeah, they're like their code base is awesome. So of course, the first starting point that I would say I had two starting points. The first one was the Ledger developer side. So we just like see, okay, how's the actual process of developing a Ledger app? And, if you would start from scratch. But then, of course, I also saw, okay, we also have an existing Ledger app from Cosmos that's working on Cosmos and works with Secret. So why not fork their code base off and, try to improve the things that we think makes sense for Secret. And so in the end, basically, I chose the path to say, okay, we will fork the code base from Zdeadex CH for the Cosmos Ledger app. And what is also quite nice about it is, since we forked this off from the Cosmos Ledger app code base, we can actually, of course, make sure that we stay like in sync with their improvements. So if Cosmos Ledger app starts to if Zdeadex gives new improvements in their Cosmos app, we can also put them in our Secret Ledger app and make our app in sync with Cosmos, but with our additional stuff that we have for smart contracts and so on. So in our case, we had it super. We had a super nice base to start off. It would have probably been a lot harder if we started off from scratch, but that's one of the benefits if you have like a very solid code base in the Cosmos SDK.
This is literally like the power of open sourcing everything. Like people can just grab stuff and just like maintain them pretty easily.
Yeah, that's an awesome thing about the Ledger, the Ledger code base for the Cosmos Ledger as well as the Cosmos SDK. So just the fact that it's open source and you can freely take the best stuff that you need and put it into your own things is amazing. Yeah.
So yeah, how much time you say like it
in our case, yeah, a very good question. So my case, first just reading everything for the process just took me like, it didn't take me a lot, like 2 or 3 hours maybe, but then like trying to understand the whole code base from the Cosmos Ledger took me a lot more. So just trying to understand how the data is sent to the ledger and how it's parsed, and which are the steps that the transaction takes inside of the Cosmos Ledger app, from just getting to the device to actually being shown to actually being like, I would say, prepared to be shown to the user. Quite takes some time to understand. It's like a lot of C code, but it's like very, very well written. So I really can't complain. Took me like, I would say, proof I have to estimate maybe 20 hours, maybe like to fully understand it, like over time. So it wasn't like I was just like staying there for 20 hours reading it. No, it was like a process while trying it out, seeing what the code does and so on. But it was like 20 hours, I would say, from start to finish until now.
And you were alone on it, right?
Yeah. But the code base is very well written, so it was quite easy, I would say. It's fairly easy.
Okay, so you're just saying like in 20 hours, which is like a day for a developer in the Web3 ecosystem, you were able like to make it. So literally, you're saying like in one day we can make it. Like, let's say 2 days. So it's pretty huge. It means like it's pretty easy to understand it and just like develop it. So yeah, it means like there is like a how do we say it in French? We say like the champ des possibles. We can make anything pretty fast. So yeah, it's amazing to know that. So it's literally easy and not like a hard task, I would say, to add a layer of security on top of application.
Yeah, that's true. I mean, in our case, of course, we kind of had a massive head start because there was a developed Cosmos Ledger app. But still, I mean, the thing about it is that even if you don't have it like this, I could also still use this the boilerplate apps that Ledger also provide. I also tried them out, But of course, since we already got the Cosmos Ledger app, I wanted to build it on top of this and not start from like from a boilerplate, I would say. One of the boilerplate templates. Yeah, it just didn't make sense in our case. But of course, if you have like a completely different chain, then it's a
it's
completely different thing. I would say
think.
probably would take a little bit more time, but it's still very easily understandable.
Yeah, I think so. We're trying to improve it and have something like very easy to understand, like for anyone. So great to hear this feedback, actually. So thank you very much. And so this is like the first part. And I say like, okay, so this is the first part. We have now a nano application. And then there is like a few things that we can work on in the future. So this is actually not something that it's like planned, I will say, or just like working on, but we can like discuss it because there is like a lot of possibilities for Secret to have more collaboration and an application on top of Ledger. So the second one after building your application is to have directly the blockchain integrate in the Ledger Live. So you are able to retrieve your balance, send token, receive, and even stake them. So this is like the I would say like the hardest part because actually your stack is pretty not really well done to include more, I would say, Cosmos application and blockchain. And actually this is bad because it was made like to have something very easy to integrate. Like this is kind of the same SDK. There is like few difference, but actually it's kind of the same. So we are revamping everything. And this is why actually our friend here is not working directly in the integration because he could have make it. But as we are revamping this stack, we're going to introduce it before the end of the year. So I would say it's going to be pretty easy to have Secret supported after that. So let's say 2023 to not like push an announcement and be sure that we're going to be able to support it. So at this time, you will be able like to have everything on top of Ledger Live. And this actually leads to something even better. And I'm sure here there is developers, as we are even talking with one, you want maybe to have a Secret application directly in the Ledger Live. And it includes like everything. If you want like Secret stash application, for example, and be able like to see your NFTs directly from it, buy even them and swap them, well, you could done it. And you could do it like even with Shade protocol, with anything. And I think like this is kind of like the privacy part that our user will literally like. And I don't know if you already like work on something maybe. Are you just developing like, okay, you say like you have your validators, the Secret Saturn one. You also worked on the application that is already live with Ledger. But do you have like an application actually?
I personally don't have a dApp actually. No, I'm basically one of the guys who tries to tie everything together. So there's like a lot of dApp teams, like as you said, like Shade, the Shade protocol team. The Stash team is one pretty big one. Also, Button Group is also one which is quite known in Secret. Also, of course, MCI Network team as well. But I personally don't participate in any of these teams. I'm basically one of the guys who's a little bit more independent, but tries to bring everyone together, basically. Especially when it comes to Ledger. So at the moment, since we got the app out right now, now the next steps, as you just said, is one of the things is trying or is getting Ledger Live support. So as you said, sending coins, receiving coins, staking Secret. That's one thing that we want to do as the next logical step. And also, as you said, is Discover section basically, where you can maybe also use specific dApps from Secret, like one of the best dApps basically that we have, best in class dApps that we have in Secret can be that we can then use in Ledger Live.
That's true.
Yeah, so that's basically our next steps. So the first step was to say, okay, let's get our own Secret Ledger app have some solid base, and from there on work on improving more and trying to extend more into, let's say, into the Ledger ecosystem as well. From the
Do you
logic
know some?
perspective.
Do you know some features? Let's say, because I'm not like maybe the community doesn't know like everything. Is there like some privacy features that could be included on it, you think?
You think on Ledger Live?
No, well, yeah, on Ledger Live or the directly like the application, like to understand, like for example, using an secret token or something like that. Do you think it could be possible?
Yes, definitely. So the thing is, of course, our awesome team from Secret Labs. So the Tel Aviv-based team, I think, at the we actually have someone here from Secret Labs who's working for them.
Okay.
And which is quite interesting is that Secret Labs, of course, has made this awesome Secret JS. So we can, of course, use Secret JS to leverage all of the features from Secret, specifically like its privacy preserving features. So I'm pretty confident that we can implement also some stuff from Secret that is specific to Secret. So let's say seeing your secret token balances, and provided, of course, that you have the viewing key and so on. But that's like going too much into details, I would say. But since we have a very nicely working Secret JS base, we can, of course, use that for Ledger Live, and of course, then easily get token balances and so on from privacy preserving tokens, as well as you also said, maybe for Stash. So also get the privacy preserving secret NFTs on Ledger. Like that would be also like another goal. So privacy preserving DeFi with coins, as secret, maybe Shade as well for Shade protocol, and secret NFTs. Yeah. There's like tons of possibilities with the Secret JS that we can use.
This could be amazing. I really want to see this like live.
Exactly this. Yeah, this is exactly the huge goal that I have for this.
This is perfect. This is what I want to hear, and I think like the community want the same, huh?
I'm pretty sure about that. Yeah, I mean, because it also brings also because Ledger's just such a big I would say like overspanning entity in the crypto community. And this will also bring like tons of other, I would say, people who don't know Secret at the moment, or just like are very fixated at, let's say, Ethereum, could give it some spotlight on Secret as well, because actually having some easy to use, privacy preserving features on Ledger Live, that sounds pretty good to me. I think it sounds also pretty good to everyone else here in the room.
Security and privacy at the same time. This is something
exactly.
very big.
So this is exactly what you want, basically, right?
Yes.
Just going hand in hand. Yeah.
No, but yeah, this is perfect. Like I think we are pretty like aligned on this way, and there is like plenty of new stuff to be done. Like the future is bright, and this is like a lot of development to be done. And this is cool to have like even like a community member like working on it, and this is like very amazing. This is like kind of the stories we like to hear, and we want more. So if you are developers, feel free to follow. I mean, like for the developers, if there is like any like in the let's just like listen to us. Come with us. We have a Discord channel, like the Ledger one, or even like the Secret one. Just follow them. Go inside, and I'm sure like even if you are building like your first application or something, people can help you. They are here. There is like communities. Even like I would say like in the Discord, we have more than 3K developers on top of it. So your questions are always welcome. So you can start from here.
Oh yeah, sounds pretty good to me. Because at the moment, of course, having someone who's pretty familiar with Ledger Live would be awesome for us. To bring them additional, additional, how would say, knowledge into it would make the process, of course, a bit faster. I mean, Ledger Live is like an awesome application, but it's pretty big at the moment. Like it's a huge mono repo, so it's pretty amazing what you can do all with it.
And it's open source.
Sorry?
It's open source.
And
This is like
that's even the best one. Yeah, that's even the best one. But it's still, it would be nice to know if someone, of course, I'm also very open to bring other people into the boat of accelerating the process, basically, of integration.
yes.
Yeah, that's also awesome.
This is
Yeah,
amazing.
man, I'll think about that. That sounds awesome.
Yep. Maybe there is like a few questions from the audience. I don't know, like if Patrick or Tor can put the mic on someone, if someone raising the hand. Maybe you have like question like for Saturn or for me regarding like how like even secret works, how ledger works. Any question? Nope. I think the audience is quite focused.
They're quite happy, I would say. Yeah.
Oh, this is cool. Okay. Do you have like a few things you would like share more? Like something we didn't discuss and you think like this is like something very interesting?
Yeah, personally, I would say, I mean, Ledger Life is one part of it, because it extends it extends Ledger into, or Secret into like the Ledger like realm, and to everyone who's actually more focused on having like an easier to use app, an easier to use, let's say, a secret network experience. But also on the other hand, of course, we just have our hardcore secret network users, the ones that basically also very keen on privacy and also very keen on security as well. And we have tons of users and tons of users who have Ledger apps and who have Ledger. And so the other goal is, of course, pushing forward the Ledger app itself. So just implementing new features at the moment, which I'm just doing right now. And I'm also like cooperating with tons of others, wallets, software wallets, developers. So there's like tons of other ones, as you might know, who are developing. So as an alternative to Kepler. So Kepler, of course, is one of the biggest, or is the biggest, I would say. I would even say is the biggest wallet in the Cosmos ecosystem. But we're also working on developing other wallets. So, for example, Fina Cash, for example, Leap Wallet, and also a Starshell Wallet. So these are like all new wallets that we can use and that are specifically optimized to also use the Secret Ledger app. So this is like an interplay. So of course the Kepler is also is amazing for Cosmos. It's also good for Secret. But of course there's like things to say. Okay, it shouldn't be like only one wallet. It should be like also another software wallet on, maybe, let's say, on mobile and on your Chrome browser. And the idea is also to say, okay, I'm basically working with each team and communicating with each team to make sure that we basically bring the most out of the Secret Ledger app, because it's like sort of an interplay between both, right? So you can only give as much if the the Secret Ledger app isn't can perform even better if you optimize the software wallets for it. So if you do like some additional features, you can leverage both of them at the same time, which even brings you more additional nice features.
Yeah, and that's kind of true, because actually there is like we talked about the internet of blockchain, and there is like not even like 100 of each, so it's pretty easy like, for wallets to support everything. But when we come like to I don't know, like thousands of hundred or even like millions at time of blockchain, it won't be possible like to support everything. So I think like it's great to have like a plenty of software application extension or wallets everywhere, so you can literally change it and just use it from almost everywhere. And as a cold wallet or storage, it's just like to be available on anyone. And you, for as a user, it's important for your security. So as you go on even Kepler, Cosmos Station, Leap Wallet, or whatever, you are still able like to use your secret application and literally retrieve your secret and use it like securely and with privacy. Because if you are using a token, then you're secured.
Yeah, exactly. That's exactly what I also have in mind for it. I mean, getting privacy sounds easier than it is. So you certainly have to be like careful about it, and also make privacy easy to use. Like Like that's another thing that you have to keep in mind. I mean, making something privacy preserving is okay, but having it privacy preserving and make it easy to use for a, let's say, newer, I would say unknown user that doesn't really know something about Secret, and wants to get into it is also pretty important, because that makes the onboarding just so much easier. If the user experience is easy to use, isn't overly complicated. That's also something that we work on, and also just making sure, I would say this best, getting privacy into the blockchain space is harder than it maybe looks at points, because people might not see the benefit from privacy preserving stuff, or like privacy, because user experience is just maybe at times just a bit too, you would say, complicated. And that's exactly what I try, or what I try and want to reduce. So just reduce all of the friction points that you have when you try to get additional privacy into it. And that's like one of the key things that I'm very keen about. So just trying to reduce the friction that we have in between the gears, of making privacy preserving smart contracts and a privacy preserving like chain, seamless, as seamless as possible. Yeah.
And we thank you for that, actually, because it's great. Like you are a developer, you build on top of many open source application. You try to help like the project to evolve, and I think like this is like the word we should like get from this one is like anyone you are, anything you can do, try to integrate yourself on any project. Try to put your pawn on it. Let's say like just even if you're not a developer and just like starting like in the Web3, maybe you have like some project management stuff. You can just like write a specific documentation because you're a good writer. So this is actually great, and try to, everything is kind of open source. So just like onboard yourself on it and try to help everyone. This is great. And I think like the first way to bring this mass adoption we are trying to do on the Web3. So yeah, pretty amazing. So if we could just like make a last point, I would say. So we gonna say like a kind of fast what we have been like talking about. So for Secret and Ledger, you already have like the application done. The blockchain integration could be playing for this end of year, beginning of next year. So you will be able to retrieve your asset and send, receive, and even stake from it. So this is going to be amazing. And if you're a developer and building like on Secret Network, any application that can maybe get through the Ledger Live, we got a Discover part, which is kind of DApp browser, I would say. So there is everything open sourced. You have the documentation directly on our website, developer. I think it's like developer.academy.ledger.com or something like that, or just like developer.ledger.com. You can just like put it in Google and just check with our portal. You say just developer portal Ledger and we'll find it. You got all the documentation starting from it. If you need help, don't worry. You can join even our Discord channel, discord.gg/ledger, or even the secret one. And I think they will be able to help you if you need anything, or even grants, or I don't know. So maybe let's look with them. And I think we're good with it. Do you have like more specific stuff to add?
For me personally, no, I think I'm good with this.
Okay, great. Okay. So if nobody has any question, I think we're good.
I mean, it doesn't have to be specifically about this. So let's say you say, okay, what do I don't like about the Cosmos app? We can also improve on that. I mean, there's always room for improvement, I would say. So.
Hey guys, how are you? I really appreciate this. Great talk. I appreciate your time and everyone joining. I just have one question about the Ledger integration. Is it possible to be able to access the privacy smart contract that's stored into an NFT with the Ledger? Let's just say the NFT is sitting on the Ledger, and then someone can use your ledger to access the NFT later on, but it's just stored in the ledger?
Actually, you can. For the moment, you can store it. You can't store it, but you can retrieve all the data, the stuff directly in the ledger live. But if you are using for example Stash, using your ledger connected with Carper, then you can.
Got it. Okay, because I'm making
There is still no clear signing with a smart contract. I think it's maybe something that could be a lot of works to be done. Having the smart contract readable really easy on the Nano and not clicking 30 times. And this could be an amazing works to be done. But
that's
it.
That's kind of what I'm working on. So I made a decentralized intellectual property platform, and something that's considered as IP is your private keys and seed phrases. So if they're stored into a privacy smart contract the right way and stored into the NFT with no metadata, that NFT can unlock your Bitcoin wallet, your Ethereum wallet, your Phantom wallet, as long as you have the right parameters in the smart contract. So that's actually what I'm building on the Secret network myself.
Awesome stuff, yeah. Exactly. So I think the next step would be just first say, okay, let's get Secret on Ledger Live for the basic, I would say, for the basic features, and then as the next logical step, bring Secret smart contracts into it, which I have to admit will take some work, of course.
Yeah.
But yeah, sure, it will take some work. But of course, we also have we also have an awesome code base in Secret.js, which we can also leverage for this. So it's not we're starting from scratch. So the interaction, the interaction with a smart contract in Secret.js is fairly easy.
Correct.
Actually, so
yes,
and we can leverage that for Ledger Live.
Okay, cool. Man,
but of course, it will take time. So it's not something that I can do overnight.
Right. It's probably
in 20 hours.
It'd be a good 5 to 8 month situation, but that's a huge adoption. We pulled this off with the ledger. You could automatically think there'll be 1 million users who would want to protect their private keys and seed phrases to have a backup instead of just having it on a piece of paper with the privacy smart contract, so no one can see what it is.
This is definitely a pretty huge feature that we also have for Secret, and it will come, right? So that's coming pretty soon, as far as I know.
We're on it. We're building.
Cool.
Thank you guys again.
Well, thanks. I don't know how you made it to be able to discuss. So if maybe someone else has any question, jump in right now. Okay. I think we're good. Anything to add, Patrick, Tor, or yourself?
I would just say, Saturn, what's the best way for people to get in contact with you if they do have suggestions or questions about the Secret Ledger app?
There are several places where you can basically find me. So one good place is also Twitter. Just write me on Twitter. Send me a DM. I'm open for every DM, and every bug that you see or every new feature that you would like maybe to have and that we can implement. I'm open to everything for your suggestions and comments as well. So what you can also do is write me on Discord. So I'm also on the Secret Network Discord, and of course I also actually have, which is a bit outdated for Web3, but I also have an email. So also of course have an email which you can also contact me. It's actually my validator as well. It's admin@secretsaturn.net. So it's actually like an old email address. You can actually write me an email if you want to, but it's the best place would be just to write me a DM on Twitter. That's probably the best place to start off if you are reading Twitter.
Yeah, I think so. Amazing.
And and also for the other ones which are in the, let's say, the Telegram groups, of course, you can also write me on Telegram. So I'm also open for for discussions on Telegram if you want to. Let's say you are in a secret group already, the secret community group, you can also find me there. Maybe writing at times here and there.
Very dedicated dev and validator of the ecosystem. We like it.
I'm open to every discussion. Whatever you might discuss, as long as it's targeted towards secret, I would say like not everything, but of course if it's targeted to secret, I'm pretty open to every discussion on it, and ledger, of course.
Oh, this is amazing. I think we have done everything. Thank you everyone for attending it. If you have any question, as said, you can contact people literally on Twitter or even by mail or Telegram. And that's it. Thank you guys.
Yeah, thank you guys. Appreciate it. We will upload this to our YouTube and make sure that it's available even after it disappears from Twitter. So we'll continue to promote this, and anybody that has any questions about the Secret Ledger app will forward your way, Secret Saturn.
Amazing.
I would also like to thank Tor and Patrick, and of course Zdeadex, for asking me the questions. It's like pretty amazing. Also would like to thank him just for making the process in Ledger extremely easy. So, it's I would say it's not really common for someone like to have like such a nice contact point. Just taking care of the problems that we have basically, or like the problems that we had maybe in getting the app towards Ledger. So of course it's always amazing to have someone really like such an awesome like developer relations guy as a contact point for questions and so on. So that was quite amazing from my point of view. Yeah.
Thank you very much. I appreciate it.
Yeah, and also of course a huge thanks to the Secret Foundation, to Tor, to Patrick for organizing this, for making Twitter space and so on. So that's greatly appreciated from my side. Thanks a lot.
Our pleasure. Thanks for coming on, guys. Thanks everybody for listening. We'll see you on our normal Secret Spaces. So next week, that's Tuesday, and we'll be doing that at 12 p.m. U.S. Eastern time. I think we'll have to adjust our UTC time since we're going to deal with some daylight savings issues. But we'll see you back here next week. We do spaces every week, and occasionally we do special ones like today. So thanks, guys, again.